Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Step Brothers album, Lord Steppington. Lord Steppington is a West Coast hip-hop duo, which consists of seasoned MC and producer Evidence, aka The Weatherman. You may know this guy from the handful of solo LPs he's put out over the years, as well as his work with groups like Dilated Peoples. And The Alchemist, a West Coast producer, DJ, and MC who has a very long-running and successful track record, has worked with a ton of different artists over the years, from huge guys like Eminem to smaller and newer dudes like Damogenesis. And he's actually worked with Evidence already numerous times in the past, providing instrumentals for his solo LPs as well as various Dilated Peoples tracks. And with The Alchemist recently doing these album-length projects with particular artists like Damogenesis and Oh No as Gangrene and Action Bronson, as well as Prodigy. So it only makes sense that he would go back into his past and do something full-length style with Evidence. And when I heard of who was going to be on this project, when I heard the name of the project, I was and wasn't excited for it for several different reasons. For one, I haven't really loved every project that Alchemist has put out as of late with a single artist in mind. And Evidence I can kind of take or leave sometimes. I'm familiar with his earlier stuff, and there are records in his past that I enjoy, but man, does his voice sound maybe just a little too monotone after a while. He's just got a very, very icy delivery. However, I do dig some Rock Marciano tracks occasionally. I did love that album that Ka just put out last year, so maybe there's something to his delivery that will hit me this time around. And I'm glad I ended up checking this thing out, because the first single to drop off of this album, Stepmasters, awesome track. There is a nasty instrumental on this thing, really grimy. Bass rumbles, chunky percussion, horn samples, some really nice DJ cuts, everything is on point with this track. And I feel like Alchemist's production just complements Evidence so much. It's really the fire that complements his so cold stares. The beat on Stepmasters and other tracks here too just make him sound much more eerie and sort of menacing. I think Evidence's bars are really thoughtful a lot of the time. They are occasionally braggadocious. They reference his past in music. However, lyrically and delivery-wise as well, Alchemist is a lot less subtle. He's more aggressive, he's more in your face as he's delivering these bars that are loaded with cartoony violence and sort of exaggerated threats. And much of the time this dynamic does work. It's kind of like a bad cop, badder cop thing. Each MC has their own distinct personality on this LP. It's really clear when one takes the reins of a track and one doesn't, but I do occasionally feel like Alchemist should have done sort of a rewrite on some of these lines. The flow brings me more dough than creamy Krispies. Or change your shitty drawers cause your pants got dumped in. Sometimes he's talking about the crosshairs on his scope sight, or saying he's gonna smack someone out of their hoodie shirt. I just think there are some rhymes on this LP that line up awkwardly and don't really fit with the gritty, dramatic tone of the instrumentals or Alchemist's super serious delivery. I mean, when I pull lines out of some of his verses and just read them, they sound like they would be more fitting for a really kooky trap beat in a riff-raff song or something. At least then the comedy would have felt intended. And, you know, don't get me wrong, sometimes it does, like, I'm a big boy, don't give me no snacks, animal head, no plate, fresh off the axe. And there are numerous weird interstitial vocal snippets in between these tracks that bring the songs together a little bit. There's sort of a weird narrative going on at the end of one particular song where this composer person hears sleigh bells and is amazed by the sound and then begins to travel the world searching for different sleigh bell sounds. Even though a lot of these songs are tough talking, there are plenty of moments on this LP to sort of remind the listener that what's going on here is just sort of for fun. I mean, the album's title is Lord Steppington. And to me that does sort of create another very small, weak link on this record. Though there are some weak bars on here, it's not that distracting, but another thing that does underwhelm me occasionally is the lack of ambition on some of these songs. Like on the song Byron G, good bars on this track all around, very good features as well from Hooligans and Damogenesis, but this instrumental sounds like a slightly slower, rehashed version of the Sylvester Lundgren beat that Alchemist gave to Action Bronson for their collaborative project together. And the song Tomorrow Too. Two good features from Blue and Raka, but another instrumentally underwhelming track with all of these really dinky synthesizers playing throughout the song. The track, to me, gets kind of redundant, and as one MC trades places with another, it doesn't really feel like the beat is showcasing or complimenting any one of them, whereas I think this track, like others on here, such as SWIMTEAM RASTAS, could have done a better job of throwing these verses up on a pedestal. Plus, this entire LP is bookended with two of the weaker tracks, structurally weak. I mean, for one, the opener, More Winds, it has a really smooth tone. I love the beat, but it's not really that much of a barn-burning or interesting start to the album. It's pretty short of breath, and so is the last track on here too, Just Step, which is such a footnote of a song. I'm surprised it ends the album out. I actually think Lord Steppington delivers its most unique, hard-hitting, and exciting tracks right in the middle of the LP. Like with the song Legendary Mesh, which has this trunk-knocking beat, really murky, kind of psychedelic bass line, lots of guitar solo samples, and a plethora of sound effects just dancing around in the mix, playing throughout the instrumental. And I think this song actually features one of Evidence's best verses on the entire LP. And in his lyrics, as well as the vocally sampled hook on this track, there are tons of A Tribe Called Quest references. And the beats get even bigger than this one, like on SWIMTEAM RASTAS, a beat that actually undergoes two instrumental changes over the course of its runtime, and the song really changes moods every single time the beat shifts. And lyrically, I think this is one of the few moments on this LP where Alchemist is actually on the same level as Evidence and is actually saying some stuff that is not as overly blunt. It's tracks like this that made me wish the Step Brothers were this ambitious on every single track here. Though there are some songs that do impress me because they have a lyrical concept sort of running throughout them, like See the Rich Man Play, which has all these references to casinos and gambling as well as Draw Something. This LP gets super aggressive on one of the next tracks here, Mums in the Garage. One of the most hard-hitting instrumentals on this entire LP and some of the most aggressive verses as well. There is a feature from Action Bronson on this track too. But what surprises me even more is the track Banging Sound, which has one of the most off-kilter rap instrumentals that I am positively sure you will hear all year. I mean, it's mostly based off of this drum fill, it seems, that is just not in a very fluid groove, but guys like Evidence on this track just ride the beat without flinching even for a second. I mean, listening to this instrumental, I just have the feeling that he's the sort of guy that, you know, a grenade could go off somewhere near him and he wouldn't even flinch. And I love how noisy and layered the instrumentation is on this beat too, with the chimes and the strings and all the vocal harmonies too. Banging sound. And for the most part, I love all the instrumentals and the lyrics that come along with the more subtle, toned down tracks too. They have a really strong, moody vibe. This LP does offer quite a bit of instrumental variety, I think, even if Evidence and Alchemist aren't changing their flows or their lyrical styles up too much on this record, though I don't really think they need to. I mean, they've got solid flows, they've got personality, they've got their sort of distinct voices. My only major complaint with this record is that there were just a few tracks at the beginning and at the end that I wasn't that crazy about. I actually loved a great deal of the tracks on this thing and could see myself returning to this LP in the future. I do think this record is still kind of an acquired taste. It has very little in the way of pop appeal, but the beats are spectacular. I feel like they pair really well with the very relaxed flows. And I feel like overall these guys couldn't have gotten a better set of features on here too. This thing is just a really great mixed bag of tracks. I'm feeling a strong 7 to a light 8. Transition. If you've given this LP a listen, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? And that's it. Anthony Fantano, Step Brothers,